Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. I'd like to make a motion to approve the February 2nd meeting minutes. Second, Carolyn seconds. Any comments on the meeting minutes? No comments heard, so all in favor to approve, say aye. Aye. Okay.
Oh, Russ,
Yes,
you should authorize Julie to vote.
right.
She's an alternate.
Julie, you're authorized to vote today. Thank you, Martha. Do we have any general public comments this morning? Anybody from the audience? We'll take specific topics later, but if there's any general comments. Co-chairs report. John, do you have any co-chair comments?
Yeah, I have one. We should technically note that comments are only available at the public hearings. So if there are any comments on topics that are not public hearings, those should be made now.
Right. We don't have any comments. So do you have any comments?
Well, you said I thought
co-chair?
you said other comments would be allowed later.
I said on the topics, on the hearings, yes.
Yeah, but on the hearings, but we have some non-hearing topics on the agenda. So if anybody has comments about the church sign, for example.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
Those should be made now at the public comment session.
Correct. That's right. Not just the specific hearings.
Yeah, the discussion doesn't mean open, it's a committee discussion.
Got it. Still no comments, so I think we can proceed, John.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight the proposed House bill that was coming around, that we sent around. House Bill 5508 would change some aspects of the governing statute for the HDC. And I think we should find out when comments are due, and hopefully they're due after April, and we can discuss these items in April. But briefly, for the record, the statute would change the public broadcast requirements so that they are permanently available on the website. It changes the appeal process so that appeals from what C of A applicants regard as adverse decisions would no longer go to the Superior Court. They would go to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and we'd need to know from another statute what that procedure would involve. The statute would exempt state and town-owned property from the requirements to obtain a C of A, and in its stead requires a rather, it's laid out in detail, but it requires a specific consultation process. But the HDC would no longer have a final say over town or state property. All these changes, if the bill is approved, would be effective on October 1st. That's all I had.
Okay. Yeah, I had one note, and that was that we submitted to the zoning commission comments at the last zoning hearing. They received those. There'll be a phase 2 to the zoning rewrite, at which those comments will be taken up by the zoning board at that point in time.
Do we know when phase 2 is? When the meeting is?
I I think it was my understanding that they would be taking that up at the next meeting, but we should confirm that.
Tonight.
It'll be tonight, yeah. We could check the agenda. I will be out of town tonight, so I don't know if anybody else could attend. Great. We'll move on to public hearings. And the 9:15 public hearing has been postponed. So we'll move on to the public hearing 925 100 Lime Street. Is there anybody here from the Roger Tory Peterson? Would you like to come up?
Sorry.
So we have a C of A for your sign. Would you like to make any comments?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't have any.
All right.
I think this is the second time we've met about this sign, so I think it was more that making sure that we got the measurements and everything to everybody.
Right.
Russ,
Yes.
I
Go ahead,
did
John.
this was one of the matters that I checked with the Eric Knapp,
Right.
the zoning enforcement
Mhm.
officer about.
Right.
And the question was whether the sign was considered a non-conforming use. And it is, since the sign didn't change. That does not mean that the fact it's a non-conforming use for zoning purposes means that it's automatically going to be approved by the HDC, because the HDC applies its own standards.
And the zoning issue. Go ahead.
No, and just whenever you're ready, I have a comment on the merits.
I just want to be clear of what the zoning issue is. It's the dimension of the sign. Is that correct? The sign is, the zoning requirement is 12 square feet?
Now, I think 12 square feet
Or-
applies to temporary signs. It's I don't have the zoning regs in front of me, but it's a smaller size sign for signs identifying property than the size of the
Right.
current sign. So, but anyway, from zoning's perspective, it's no problem because the larger sign it had been there for a long time. I mean, before it was a
Right.
RTP sign, it was a bee and thistle sign.
Right. It's 27 square feet, just if I'm taking this dimension off right here. So I think that's one of the questions. So John, you had another comment that you wanted to make about it. Yeah, about
Well,
the merits.
The comment is, I find that although the sign is identical in dimensions to what it's the same sign that had been posted on the taller posts, I find that it looks very much different when it's down at the eye level of drivers. And in my personal opinion, it's really not compatible with the look of the property. I know, is it Alicia who's here? I can't.
Yes, hey, John.
She's off camera. I believe, Alicia, you mentioned that
The cameras.
Oh, sorry, John, I'm literally at the table.
She's at the table, John. The camera's turned.
no, I hear the disembodied voice.
Yeah.
No, I believe, Alicia, you said that there were plans to have a different sign.
Yeah,
Is-
but it
is
doesn't
that-
necessarily mean we'd want to shrink the size. What I will say though is I agree with you, John. It's much more visible now that it's lower to the ground, right? I think
Yes.
people have commented like, oh, we see your sign, we know where to go in now. I thought, well, that's a good thing. And it doesn't block any traffic. We asked about that to, I don't know who, I can't remember, because it's the entrance zone, it's not the exit side. We do plan to change the sign a little bit when we renovate to get one a little more like the Old Lime Inn, which I'm assuming is also out of.
I haven't measured that one.
It's probably this, it's huge. It's like the Bee and Thistle sign. That's what this was modeled after, was the
I-
same size.
I think the Old Lime Inn sign is smaller. Anyway, you should check with zoning and look at our sign guidelines about what is a permissible maximum sign, size sign. My question is whether something could be done on the sooner side rather than on the later side to modify, to come up with a new sign.
I mean, I can see about that, but honestly, probably not, just because of the expense of it. And once we do it, because we have to run electrical back out there to make sure that the posts are electrified again, because we had that all shut off as it was, I said, it was a safety issue. And we're going through a rebranding at Audubon to check our colors. So it won't be immediate. It will be probably 12 to 18 months though.
Another issue is if you're planning to run electricity out there, I assume it's for lighting, and both the HDC and zoning have guidelines or regulations applicable to lighting.
Correct. And there is lighting already there, but we cut it off because when the sign was falling, we didn't want to put the money into digging up and figuring out where the trench and everything was.
Was that uplighting or downlighting?
Down. It was on top of the sign,
Top.
facing down. But we are a part of Lights Out Connecticut for migratory birds and all the insects and everything. So we actually don't put a lot of lights on.
Yeah.
I know,
figure
it
you're
bothers a lot of
You
people.
guys are really dark sky, right?
I know.
Yeah, I figured
We leave, like,
you
our
would.
lights on the porch sometimes, and it kills people. It's a big conversation at the office.
Yeah.
I figured you would be sensitive to it, but once you start looking at zoning regs, there are I's and T's that need to be dotted and crossed.
Yes.
John, is it possible we have a C of A before us. Is it possible to approve a C of A that has a temporary timeframe?
I think we could do that and
Right.
should do that again. If
Right.
zoning had said this is a change that makes it non-conforming, I'd have trouble approving it. I don't think we
Right.
should approve things that zoning disallows. But I just would urge again that plans for a replacement be
Permanent.
Brought in, fashioned as soon as is reasonably possible. And again, that we're happy to discuss things ahead of time if you get to a point where you have just tentative ideas.
I have a
But-
question,
Yes.
just a question. Alicia, are you considering when you do a new sign, you said you were interested in making it similar to the Old Lime Inn sign? Are you considering a post and arm instead of the framing that you now have?
I haven't gotten that far. Really, what I meant was like the look of it, how it's more 3D.
Uh-huh.
It's a little wood. It's not going to be a plastic sign, obviously.
Uh-huh,
This one's metal, but
uh-huh.
That'd be-
That's
So you
what I
might
meant.
consider it. It would be more in keeping with the rest of the signage.
depending,
in the historic
yeah,
District, if you could, I'd consider that possibility.
without a doubt.
So,
Our standard length of time for granting a C of A is a year. But I would say we should put in there, attach an understanding that this is not a permanent sign.
Yeah, I would suggest that we say that this is a 1 year time frame on the approval of this sign.
Mhm.
And to request that that within that year, a new proposed sign be brought before
Sure.
the commission. Does that sound?
That sounds fair.
Are there any other comments? Because I can make that motion. Okay, so
Are there any comments from the audience you should ask Russ?
right, any comments from the audience? Having heard no comments, I'll make a motion to approve the C of A as presented for a temporary time period of 1 year with the request that the new permanent sign C of A application happen within that 1 year period.
And could we add, because I think it would be consistent with the rest of the HD, could we add that we would request that they consider a post and arm structure rather than the existing structure, or is that just understood?
I think we take that up at the time
At
that
the time. Okay,
they
very
present the new C of A.
Very good.
We have a second. We have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion approves.
Terrific.
Yeah,
Thanks,
great. Thank
everybody.
you.
Have a good week.
Alicia,
Thanks,
could
Alicia.
you sign the application?
Oh.
Because I think this one's not signed.
Can I use your pen? Yeah, if you want me to sign this one.
Whichever one you'd like to. Great, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Thank you.
All right, next up is 52 Lime Street, the military memorial markers. Anybody here that wants to speak to the markers?
Maria.
Hi.
Oh, Maria. Oh, she's on
Mary
the,
Ellen.
Mary Ellen. She's on the
Hi.
screen. Okay. All right.
Sorry,
Hi,
I
Mary
couldn't-
Ellen.
Hi, I'm sorry I couldn't join you in person today. Our schedule drastically changed overnight. And so I'm just, again, always grateful that we have this Zoom option. So yay. Good morning,
Great.
everyone.
Good morning.
I'm actually very grateful that your meeting was postponed a week also for timing reasons for this project. So maybe it'll work out today. I have a good feeling. So I think Martha sent you guys all the sort of information. Just a little bit.
Yes.
You should have the
Yes.
copy of that, Martha,
Everybody's
and
have that.
you should also have some images of what the markers would look like on stone. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to really kind of create something for you to look at visually that would that incorporates the actual town hall. I think today was like the first day I drove by the old lime sign and the snow was melted around it. So I think if you just quickly look down, I just kind of want to bring you guys down to the bottom of the page. The bottom two pictures with the old lime sign and then the flagpole sign. So, or picture rather. So these are the two sort of areas I think that we would be honing in on for these signs, the markers. I wanted to draw your attention to the flagpole and that little plaque that's affixed to it. It's sort of in the center.
Yes. She froze up.
She's frozen.
Yeah.
So our idea
Mary
is
Ellen, you
that,
froze up for a minute. So could you repeat the last 20 seconds or so?
Sure, sorry, I thought it was in a pretty good spot. So yeah, I wanted to draw your attention to that particular sign that's mounted to the flagpole. That is just about the size of the markers, just to give you a visual. So our thinking is that, kind of depending on what you guys think, is that one, if we wanted to not have it seem redundant, which I know has been one of the issues, I don't know if we could incorporate these two particular signs right into that memorial. They could actually be affixed right to the flagpole. And it would look, I don't know, very symmetrical with what's existing there. So that's just an option. And then, we could also think about the idea of incorporating them elsewhere in that same area, but affixed to a stone if the flagpole option isn't likable. Alternatively, I think what we'd really love to have is them, if you look at the Old Lyme picture, the signage, the Old Lyme sign picture, that is our site and the Duck River Garden Club site. And if we could have the signs on either side or some way set up symmetrical, and they would be mounted to either granite or stone. I think that's what the Board of Selectmen decided, is they definitely don't like the brick, and I agree. These are just examples of what they look like, and the stone was mostly favored. So we would get some examples of that if that's kind of the way we wanted to go with it. So those are kind of the two places that we're thinking for these. So you guys have an idea what the sign size is based on the flagpole. You can see what they would look like if they were mounted to stone or to a rock. And then if you go up to the top, you have the specific, at the top of the document, you have the specific measurements for each one of them. So I feel like that's kind of where we're at with them. And I'm happy to answer questions or ideas about them.
So just to help, hang on, John, just to help so we understand, since we don't have a drawing, the exact placement. So I'll take both scenarios. Are you
Sure.
suggesting that in the flagpole scenario that you would have two plaques above the current plaque that's there? Or
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be above, it could be below. I mean, I don't
I see.
know. I'd have to sort of look at the flagpole a little bit more. It was just a thought. It was just sort of an
All right.
idea. Yeah.
And then on the second scenario at the Old Lyme sign, are you
Mhm.
suggesting that there would be one on either side of the Old Lyme sign, or maybe you could describe your envisioned placement relative to that so that we
Yeah, sure.
understand your
So
vision?
yeah, and I think it would really come down to actually like being out there and standing there and saying, okay, this will work, this wouldn't work, and what looks the best, right? So I'm thinking that they would be forward of the sign, right? So you have the post, you can see that post like first and foremost. And maybe that would be like the center line, and there would be a stone on each side, or maybe they would be where the blue is, and they would just be on the center. They would be on either side of the sign, but like centered, if that makes any sense.
I understand. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Would
I don't-
that be,
yep.
Go ahead, Ed.
would that be within the confines of the garden that surrounds the Old Lyme sign?
I think that would be the idea. That would be the idea. And again, I think we're happy to brainstorm specifically where they'll go in front of town hall if they're approved. Like there's definitely wiggle room for placement. It's just a matter, again, it's always the ordering. Like if we can just get them ordered, knowing they're gonna go in front of town hall, we can come back to you and say, this is specifically where we want to go. This is exactly where they want. Are you good with this or not? If not, we can change it around. Does that help?
Yes, if that helps. I have a question about the size. The photographs that you submitted, show the flush with the ground mounted plaques in two sizes as far as I can see from the pictures, unless the photographs are a distortion. But the Gold Star, the upper one on the photographs that you've given us, looks more square. And I don't know if the dimensions are the same, but this is going to be, sort of large. It's 11 1/4 tall by, this would be what, 8 and 8 would be 16. So this
Four
is
more inches.
21. So it would be something like this size, if I'm right. That's a fairly large plaque. And then if you have a cement surround or a granite surround, it enlarges it even more. But maybe I'm off on I was trying
No,
to
I
figure
agree
out
with you.
both
They
the
do,
size and the location.
I agree with you. They do look distorted. They look really big. And
Yes.
so I think the last time I was there, I had a piece of paper. I don't know if you remembered. It was just a blank piece of paper. It was
Yes.
that's about the size that they are. And for reference, that sign that's on the flagpole, that's mounted to the flagpole, it's just about that size.
Well,
It's
I think
roughly-
the flagpole sign is 22 by 8. So the flagpole sign is narrower. In other words, unless I measured it wrong, but it's something like that. Maybe it's 22 by 10.
It's wider than what they're
Mhm.
suggesting, but the flagpole.
Maybe that's wrong. I would want to measure that again. I would like to measure that again.
Yeah.
The dimensions of the existing flagpole sign.
I didn't specifically measure that sign. Basically what I did is I had that paper, and that was really just sort of a visual of about what the sign was about. I think maybe it was 3 inches taller, roughly. But when we stuck it up to that sign, it was roughly about the same size. It wasn't a lot larger. So yeah, that's just sort of the reference idea. But I do agree with you. They do look very big when they're on those markers, but they're really not that large.
So just to be clear, the technical dimension is 11 1/4 by 20. That's what I'm reading here.
Yeah.
Is that? Okay.
Yeah. And if you, so again, like if you took a legal piece of paper, I guess, and added on a couple inches on each end, it's sort of.
I think it would be about this size if just using the pages that I have. So it would
That's a
be
little longer, but
a
yes,
little
slightly.
longer. So 8.5 and 8.5 is 17, and this is 21. So it would be 4 inches,
That's about it.
approximately this size. So we can visualize.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here in front of us.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it is. So both for the ground placement in the ground. So I'm not clear if you would want perhaps to consider having them parallel to the existing historic sign, if that is the designated location, or whether you would want them parallel to the street. Would they be vertical? Because they are quite large even for that site. They would fit.
Yeah, I think ideally we probably want them in a place where if you were just walking by, you'd be able to visually see them and read them without really having to like go over there. So on either side of the sign, but facing towards the sidewalk. Does that help?
So since the ground has slope to it, in other words, it's a mound.
Yeah.
If you did the sign on, I'm looking at the two concrete examples, which is nice because it's very clean and simple.
Yeah.
If you place that on the ground, which has slope, I think you would be able to see the signs. With that angle.
I mean, if they
Yeah,
were placed perpendicular to the street. Yeah.
Yeah, right, facing the street. So you could read them from the sidewalk, which is what I think the
Yeah.
intent is. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Do the
again, like
signs come in a small? Do the
Go ahead.
signs come in a smaller dimension?
no, unfortunately, this is the smallest size. And they're much smaller than the original proposal. So, which was the highway markers. So this is the smallest that we can get them.
Oh, this is not the same size as the highway marker?
No, these
Small.
are much smaller.
And what would the Marilyn, what would the elevation be? How are you envisioning? Are you envisioning a granite surround or a cement surround the way the witness stones have? The witness stones are 4 by 4 inches with a 3-inch surround, I think. So with the whole entire structure is approximately 10 by 10, so significantly smaller. But I am experienced with placing these in the ground and installing them, and they have to go on a concrete block and so on. So I just wondered how you would envision that happening. And would you use granite?
So we don't know yet. We definitely like the stone. We haven't really gotten that far in our planning yet. And I'm just curious, were you the one who placed the witness stones by any chance?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So those, when we were at this, we did see them, and they were like flush with the ground almost, right? And so like we almost stepped on them. And I think that the grass was a little tall, so I don't think they would be like that flush to the ground. I do envision them to have some sort of a slope to them so that they're not just directly set into the ground, because I do think that would look a little strange with the mounting. I think that they would be at an angle where you can read them and see them. And I do think that having them on granite or some sort of a stone, probably not concrete, because I feel like it's not as aesthetic, with a very minimal frame is kind of what we're looking at. Very simple, because they draw their own attention with the blue and the gold coloring. So I wish that I could tell you exactly what we had planned out, but I think we just sort of got to the point where we know that's kind of where we want to place them. This is sort of the idea. And I guess that's what we envision. So that's as much as I can tell you.
So Mary Ann, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
If it were to be I agree, not a concrete, but a stone that's about 2 to 4 inches in thickness. Okay, and then that and the plaque is placed on top of that, and then it's on the slope ground that would have vision to the sidewalk, and it's not being covered by plants.
Yeah.
And then it creates, and I'm looking at the image, the middle image on the right side. And I don't know if that's concrete or stone, but it appears more stone than the top image, which is clearly concrete. The lighter one.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
if it were something like that, is that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're envisioning. And I have to be honest with
Oh,
you,
okay.
I'm not very well versed in like stone, like in how this all works. Like we would obviously take the time to have somebody come out and help us with getting this together, but I don't know how to do this. So this is very new with the mounting of the stone. But yes, that's what we would be leaning towards as far as what it would look like, is exactly that image. Maybe even if we could shave off a little less, I don't know, or even if we could shave off a little less on the bottom, we would do it.
Right. Less surround, if
Right.
you will. John, you have a comment?
Yeah, I'm having trouble picturing the look of stones if they're placed near the Old Lyme sign. That setup looks very natural to me as it is, which leads me to believe or suggest or ask whether the stone, if at that location, should be a natural stone. One of your pictures had a plaque shown on a natural stone. The other site with the flagpole has granite, and it might seem incongruous to have natural stone there. So it could be that the type of stone depends on the location.
Yeah, I think as far as the stone goes, this isn't really something that we've really hashed out just yet. And only because we would probably try to find somebody to work with. We have to look at the pricing of what these cost. Like, again, we're paying for it all. We're hoping that maybe we can find somebody local who will give us like a discounted price. And, or even maybe somebody that might donate it. And obviously we wouldn't put something there that looks hideous, right? We would want something natural, something that looks nice. It is our site. We take a lot of great pride in what it looks like. So it would be, I think, counterproductive for us to put something there that just didn't sit right. We want it to look great. So we just really haven't picked out a specific stone yet. We just haven't gotten that far. We're
Martha,
open
do
to
you-
suggestions
Yeah.
though, like, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that, you know, this is sort of what the idea is, that piece of stone that you saw, like, that's kind of what we want it to look like. And so if you can just think, okay, that's kind of what it's going to be look like, and then we would come back to you and say, what do you think about this stone? If we get it approved, okay, great. What do you think about this stone? What do you think about that? Which one do you like better? Which one is more aesthetic to the public? And we wouldn't just say, we're doing this and that's it. We would definitely come to you and get your opinions, you know, and what do you think? So it's
Well,
sort of
Mary
a
Ellen,
work in progress. Yes.
One part of the process is if we approve a C of A, we have to give parameters. So that's why we need to kind of have this discussion. We can't leave it so open. We do have to narrow it down. Now, there's a limit to that, and we can discuss that. Martha had a comment.
Yeah.
Her hands up, so.
I think that we're overshooting this a little bit. I think that I applaud the Duck River Garden Club for saying that they would like to take these 2 markers. They would decrease the size. The biggest point here is that, are you willing to work with them on the placement and the design of it? They're just trying really and truly to say that if you will work with them on placement and design later, they just want to get this ordered because it takes 4 months. And if you say, no, we're not going to even invite the fact that it could go here on the town hall grounds, then they're going to order the larger ones that for the road, and they're going to go somewhere in town that you don't have authority over. That's what the Board of Selectmen, we envision a more natural stone like John did. That was what we said. We did not want the brick. We hate concrete. We don't think that's appropriate for here, but we thought more of a natural stone, sort of more to the picture in the middle on the left-hand side was what we had thought. We thought more of a 45-degree angle, and we thought either the ground garden where the sign is now, or perhaps over by the tree here on the grounds, because it's on the memorial side of the building. We didn't get into the specifics. Basically, they're really and truly saying, do you give us permission to buy the signs and we'll work on placement later? If you say you don't want an 11 by 20 sign here on the grounds, 2 of them, she won't order that size. That's really where we are today. I know that a lot of this was given to you, but they don't have those specifics because they've got 4 months to work on that while the signs are being made. You don't want them here, fine, we'll move on and we'll go to another place.
Well, thank you. I think what we're trying to do here is to review the C of A and vote on it, and just trying to decide what parameters would actually go on a C of A
Well, the parameters-
approval that we would vote on. So,
Right, and so the parameters would be, you can order them, but we
well,
want to see them designs.
that's not our purview of telling somebody if they can order something or not. Our purview is to review the C of A that's been submitted and then vote upon the C of A. And that's what we're trying to do. So,
But I think there's too many question marks in what she's been deciding, talking about today. There's still too many ifs.
well, I don't know. I mean, I think the commission hasn't really discussed it yet.
Okay.
We've heard from you, but
I think
I think we should
if you-
deliberate a bit more here. Yeah.
I think if you were just to sort of, if you wanted the parameters specifically, I think whatever the minimal margin would be to have it mounted to stone, whether that's like 2 inches on around, like that would just be the addition, 2 inches to
Stone.
the byway marker. So I don't know how this works specifically, but I'm thinking like 2 inches are pretty reasonable, background. So plaque would be 13.25 by 22 wide, I think. If you wanted to like get actual measurements, like that would be
Oh,
the
right.
total. Yeah.
Well, it would be a 2-inch. Are you saying a 2-inch perimeter? So it would be twice that. It would be 11 plus 4 would be 15.25, correct? If you're wanting a 2-inch band.
Yeah, a
Just-
2-inch band, so 2 inches all around.
Right. So that would be a 15.25 by 24 total. And recognizing that the sign is the 11 and a quarter by 20, and then you've got a 2-inch stone band around that would be set in the garden area.
It'd be 25, wouldn't it?
That's 25. Did I say 20?
25.
No, 24.
I'm wondering if, I'm wondering
20
if,
plus
to-
4. 24.
I'm wondering if today we could approve a C of A or vote on a C of A specifying the size of the sign, specifying which of the 2 spotted locations we would consider, specifying the margins of the stone around the side, and leave, and then add the stipulation that they return for, the town returns for approval of the specific location.
The final placement. Yeah, that makes sense, John. Yeah. Go ahead, Ed.
Do we want to consider the total vertical height of the marker? If you look at the center image on the left, it's got much more vertical presentation than the one on the right.
Yeah, it would be less than, if you were to take what we just described and put it completely vertical, that would be 24 inches or 2 feet. So
Plus the size of the stone.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The stone is 2 inches.
Well, if it were a natural stone, you can't tell exactly what the margin would be. You have to find the actual physical.
Well, based on that description, we're limiting it to 24 inches.
Okay.
The total sign is 24 inches. So if it's vertically on the ground, that's 24 inches tall, unless you tilt it.
So
So
it's less obtrusive.
then it'd be less. So if it were vertical, the maximum height would be 24. Would we be willing to live with that?
No, I'm not sure.
You would rather have it,
24 inches high is pretty tall. I don't think
right?
even Mary Ellen might not like that in her beautiful natural garden site. I mean,
But-
we all agree this site is beautiful. Now, I'm talking about the one around the historic sign.
So if we were to not define, if we just, as John said, define the stone and plaque dimension, not specify the placement now, other than the location, but not the exact placement at either of these 2 locations. And then have the town come back with the final attitude, design, and then the final placement at one of these 2 locations. Would that be something we
Or
could?
the third location, which Martha mentioned, which would be over here. Right.
Oh,
We did not,
Right.
I don't think we are in agreement. We definitely don't want it on the flagpole.
Yeah, it was an option. I
All
think
right,
we
so let's take
definitely
that one
want
off.
it.
Okay,
I don't
That's
see
what's
it
before us.
as visually over there
Right.
in the
Yeah.
actual memorial, but I will tell you, it's been a little hard with 2 feet of snow on the ground. I think today's the first day.
Yes, I
placing
had
the
to go
garden.
yesterday.
So that's why I think that with a professional landscaper who could come in and tell us visually and give us a better visual representation,
right.
I think that more work has to be done on that. But so there are possibly 3. I think the board of selectmen will consider garden or the grass area, those of which are visible. But we work with the memorial area.
I like the garden area and that it's the Duck River Garden.
Yeah.
And the plaque being, it associates the plaques with the club, who's the sponsor of the presentation. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. So
They've also been doing the
The other-
pictures out in
Oh,
front
they
of
have,
the
yeah.
aquarium for us.
Russ, my concern, I think, is perhaps the same as Ed's. I'm not sure, but we don't, usually when we approve a sign, we do talk about 3 dimensions, the length, the width and the height.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure, as John said, it's hard to visualize, but are we going to stipulate a height now? Or are we going to leave the height open? I'm not sure where you, because if it's beveled at a 45-degree angle, or if it's vertical on
Well-
either a natural stone or another, it's going to be a very different
Well,
look.
if we wanted to define a height, you could limit it to 2 feet, or you could say something less than that. And that would require that whatever that sign be angled. So if
I
you'd
think
like to.
we-
define a
I
height.
think we'd have it at like a vertical angle. I think that would look better than like something straight up and down. So I think we would be looking at
It'd be
like a
slight tilt,
vertical,
yeah.
low to the ground, vertical, just enough where you can see
No more
see
than
it.
45.
Yeah.
No
Well, we could, maybe we say that, no more than 45 degrees. And so that would give you your,
That will dictate the height.
that would dictate the height, yeah. So no more than, so a 15.
But 45 degrees from what base? See, I'm so used to this from the cemetery. We're always,
So
measuring
it would-
monuments, how big is the
It would
base?
sit on ground. It would sit on ground. The stone, the edge of the stone would sit on the ground and it would tilt at no more than 45 degrees. And it would be a 13 and a quarter, 15 and a quarter by 24-inch plaque.
15 and a quarter.
That's what I said, 15 and a quarter. That's with the stone
Oh, I see. Yeah, I got you.
and 24 is with the stone. Yeah.
And the height would be what? Should we stipulate 4 inches?
We're not, with the
The
thick,
maximum height point would be 4 inches.
we could say that.
around?
We could say 4 inches. Yeah,
Maximum.
maximum, yeah.
I mean,
I
if we
will,
say, if,
I think 4 inches
Mary
at a
Ellen, if
45
we say-
degree angle, that's not gonna be enough.
No,
You're gonna
I
have to
I agree.
45,
She's saying coming up 4 inches.
yeah, but if you do a 45-degree angle from a flat surface, you're gonna be over 4
Who is
inches.
that?
But you can,
Our-
No, the bottom of the plaque is 4 inches
no.
off the ground.
The highest elevation point of the plaque
She's saying height.
is 4 inches.
No,
It has
that's
to be the vertical dimension of the triangle.
right. Right, in other words, the 45 defines this height. So 4 inches off the ground, the 2 foot, the 15 and a quarter inch height tilted back 45 degrees.
the problem is if you're putting this near the lime sign, the ground is sloped.
Mhm.
So
We're-
it's
we're saying
not 4
maximum.
inches above a flat plane. It's 4 inches. I mean, I don't know exactly what the slope is next to that sign, but it may be that the top end of the sign needn't be more than a couple inches above the,
I
The
agree,
upper
John.
slope.
What I'm trying to do is to get a maximum requirement, a limit. And then it can be less than that.
But Russ, I think what John's saying and what I'm saying is that the maximum height depends on the location. So were the signs to be placed here by the spruce tree, it would certainly make sense for it to have a 45-degree angle.
Right.
But if the signs are in the landscaped garden around the Old Lyme History sign, then it doesn't make sense, as John said, because it's on a slope already.
Then it can be less than 45. It can then be less.
If we say maximum 45, then that would allow it to be 45 in either spot.
But they wouldn't do that. I mean, in other words.
Yeah, we wouldn't, if we were gonna
Right.
Which I would
change
think
it,
is
we
right.
would change the dimensions. Yeah, if we wouldn't say, well, you said this and now we're gonna do it, we would just change it to what you think is best, depending on what site it goes to. I mean, I'm thinking that we want it at the site with the Old Lyme sign. Like, that's probably everybody's first preference, if that helps.
Yeah, I mean, you could either say it follows the slope of the existing
Yeah,
mound. And it's no more than 4 inches off of that. That's one option. Or you could say it rests on the grade in front of it. and it tilts back 45 degrees, no more than 45 degrees. It could be less. Right? It could be
Well,
less than
the
45.
the other thing we could say is that it follows the slope of the ground. You know, you
Right.
got it on a natural stone set in that area. You can always come in and petition to change the C of A. So if,
True.
once you
Right.
get those
That's right.
specifics, you say,
That-
you know,
that's
we've
what we
talked about this and talked about this, and it really makes sense that it needs to be elevated a little bit and not flush with the slope. Well, then you just submit a C of A to propose that change.
That's what we need to do, John, is let's say for today, let's say that it follows the slope and it's no more than 4 inches off of that, the thickness of the stone. And then we can approve the location, we can approve the dimensional size of it. We can tie it to the ground and the slope of that ground. And if they need to change that, they can come back to us with the final placement and the final attitude. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I've one
And-
last comment, to Mary Ellen
Yeah,
and to the
sure.
rest of you. If you were once you get the sign or there's no snow and you think carefully about the beautiful space around the old lime sign, were you then to decide that they would intrude on that garden space and want to place them over here on either side, let's say, of the spruce tree, which has already been discussed, I think we should allow them to still consider that alternative and not tie them to the garden site, because you're not sure how it would look and how these signs would look in the garden site yet, as you said.
Yeah, I that's a really good point, and I appreciate you leaving it open to that. I mean, obviously, we like in my mind, I envision what they would look like there. But you're right, they might not look great. I do feel like if they were over in where the trees are, my feeling is that they might get a little lost over there. Unless they were really like, that's a whole other conversation, right? Like we would want to make sure that they didn't get lost sort of in the back where the tree is. So, you know, I don't know that we would, if it was like a last resort, then probably we could talk about it. But yeah, I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that what we envision with the existing old lime sign site, that it'll work out.
That's what's been
I
presented.
mean,
The other hasn't been presented, yeah.
Yeah.
the other thing we can do is deny the C of A, vote to approve the signs with the understanding that they will be placed somewhere near the town hall, if that's, people are content with that. And then have you come in after you got the signs and done a design, come in with a new C of A and that has the normal details in it. I mean, what a lot of the discussion we're having today is just a struggle because we don't have a precise picture of where they would go and how they would look.
But John, I think we could approve the dimensional aspect of this sign, which gives comfort in the ordering of the signs, which is what I've heard the request. And that if we provide some basic stipulations on its location, not the flagpole, the near the old lime sign, we could entertain the other location if we would like to include that in the approval. And then the exact attitude, height, and placement would be defined at the next meeting.
That's fine.
Okay.
I guess I think a C of A should specify a location, so we can
Right.
specify the sign. And then if nothing works out there to your liking, once you really plotted it out and plotted out
They
where
can change it.
plantings would go,
They can-
then you
they come
can
back and-
submit a C of A to revise the location as well as pin down
Right.
any remaining specifics.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think we vote on the one location at the Old Lyme historic sign today. And then if there is a request to change, or after you look at it, you want to change, you come back and update that. But I think we at least can move ahead with approving, the dimensional aspect of the sign and the general, not exact, precise location and mounting, if you will, that needs to be determined.
So I would be more comfortable with what I think both John and Martha suggested, which is that the main goal today, as I think Martha has said, is to allow them to order the signs and to have 4 months to consider the location, the surround, the height and all of that, as we've discussed. So couldn't we say, John, that I think you suggested earlier that we approve the length and the width, but not the height yet, because the height hasn't, unless we approve, I don't know, we haven't, the height I still think depends on the location. And if we give them the opportunity to just buy the signs, order the signs, then the specific location and the height and the mounting material can be decided with a later C of A. In other words, I prefer not to specify the location until they've had a chance to examine the location and try out the signs in both places.
I disagree. I think we need to hone in on the general location that's been presented. And in other words, I respectfully disagree. I think I agree that defining the sign dimensions, I think that's clear. I think we also got to a resolution that the surround would be no more than 2 inches beyond the sign dimension. So in other words, I don't think we need to go beyond that. So I think those things are agreeable. And I think there's an agreeable location that's being presented. I don't know why we would have multiple locations at this point for the C of A today.
Well,
Flexibility.
I do agree with the flexibility that Carolyn mentioned, but I will tell you something. I think that once spring comes and they look at what 15 by 20 is gonna look like in that garden times 2, they're gonna realize they're not gonna have a garden.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be, and it's gonna look ridiculous
I
because
see.
it's too much,
Right.
I think, for that smaller space. So I think there's a place for them, but I'm not sure until we see what we can mount it on and what size.
Mhm.
Could it be done, something that's done very clever? When you get somebody, a landscaper and a stone person to work with you on a design, I think you can come up with something, but I think the Duck River Garden Club is gonna realize they're losing a lot of garden space.
I see.
And
That was my point. I agree with Martha completely. I
Yeah.
think the signs could turn out to overwhelm the garden space. And as John has said, as we all have said, we love the way the plantings around the Old Lyme sign looks. The plantings have, the Garden Club has done a beautiful job, and I think they might compromise their own, best interests, but that's to be decided. So that was why I was,
So today the C of A would approve the use of I'm going to stick to the 15.25 by 24 maximum overall dimension, somewhere on the town hall property. Is
yes,
that what we're saying?
that's what we're
I
saying.
got my car, but.
And I just have to also comment that if things were grossly different, we wouldn't move forward. We would make sure that we came to you and said, hey, like, this is what's happening. Like, we wouldn't just stick it there. It was drastically different. It's not really what the intention is.
Okay.
The intention is to make it look nice and everybody like it.
Okay, then maybe it's 15 by 24 on the town hall property, coming back to us with the final design and location.
With a vertical height not to exceed.
But with the surround.
But that would be defined at the,
Well, but if the vertical height not to exceed was the vertical height of the 15 inches. So you don't end up with a big rock that overwhelms the space.
do we want to go ahead and put that limit on it?
No, I don't. I think we decide that later. That would be for the next C of A.
Well, we've had different opinions here.
Okay.
So,
No,
could
I
could
respect-
we,
I'll go with the majority.
could we specify that it
Thank
be
you, Martha.
installed on, could we specify that today that it be installed on a rock? Or is that up in the
A
air?
stone, yeah,
Stone,
stone and
Rather
not
than-
concrete,
rather than
Yeah.
wood or concrete.
right? Yes, I agree with that. What, Ed, what if we did the 15.25 is the height, we should probably give them a little wiggle room.
Yeah.
What if we did like 18 inches, a maximum height above grade,
Above the horizontal grade.
above the horizontal grade, yeah.
Yeah.
That gives them flexibility to angle it and position it,
Right.
but it's not up on a flagpole, it's not
Or on a boulder.
on a boulder, that's right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Right,
I can't, I'm afraid I can't accept that yet.
why?
18 inches,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't like to see 18 inches above grade in the sloped area around the old limestone.
Above flat grade,
Too much.
he was saying about the flat plane.
So above the level of the grass? So above the
grade.
level of the lawn,
The lawn, yeah,
not counting
not counting that.
the slope of, so if it's on the slope,
It can't be 18 inches above the lawn,
above the lawn.
right?
Flat part.
The flat grade, yeah.
That's why I'm just suggesting we leave the height until the next.
But
CBA.
I like the idea of keeping it down.
Mhm.
And so that they don't come back and have it up high someplace, yeah.
Okay.
I will make a motion since we've been crafting this to approve a Blue Star and Gold Star memorial marker mounted on a stone base not exceeding 15.25 by 24 inches in total on the Memorial Town Hall premise, with a height above flat grade not to exceed 18 inches. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Abstained? John, do you abstain or do you say,
No, well, I would leave, I guess I'm with Carolyn. I would leave the height out for now. It's just so
so
dependent
that's a
on,
no? So, or do you want me to modify my,
If you modify it, I'm happy to
I'm-
go.
because that didn't carry, right? Or is it three to Martha?
3-2.
Does that carry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3-2 carries.
We'll come back for the new C of A.
They'll come back for the new C of A, right?
So it can be adjusted then.
Right, they can adjust
And
then.
and Russ, are you adding the stipulation that a new C of A be submitted with
Yes,
drawings and specifications? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, well, I've said what I've said. Okay.
I think I agree, it should be drawn out. I think for us, again, none of us have experience with the mason work of this. So we would have somebody come and say, this is kind of exactly what it is. We just haven't found that person yet. So you will have specifics, drawings, things like that for sure.
do we need to revote if we're changing that? Because I didn't state that originally.
With the stipulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I guess, Martha, we want to be careful here that we're following, the,
Yeah, you can modify it and then take the vote again.
got it.
Well, you have to, I think procedurally withdraw and have the seconder agree to withdraw the original
Okay. So
to motion.
I'll withdraw, and Ed
I'll stand down.
will stand down. Okay. So I will try the motion again. I make a motion. Well, Martha, why don't you read what I said before? Let me add the stipulation. Yeah. Yeah.
You move to approve the blue and gold star memorial markers
Okay.
mounted on a stone base not to exceed 15 inches by 24 inches,
15 and a quarter.
15 and a quarter, by 24 inches. The height above the flat grade not to exceed 18 inches.
Also, could you specify in there the dimensions of the sign itself? It sounds like the dimensions you're giving are the dimensions of the stone.
It's the total. We could say the total dimension is 15 and a quarter by 24, with the blue star sign being 11 and a quarter by 20,
Yes.
with
thank
1
you.
inch, with 1 inch lettering in raised relief. I will maintain the not exceeding 18 inches above grade, with final design and placement
With the stipulation that an additional C of A be submitted
yeah, and it
for approval concerning final grade and placement.
is it an additional C of A, or is it a? Yeah, I guess it would be an additional. So with the stipulation of final placement and attitude
And grade, I think John said.
and grade, yeah. Well, placement is kind of grade. So, but yeah, we can say grade. Provided in a second C of A. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
In seconds. All right.
So this means the final grade will be determined when the second C of A comes in. If the final grade is still to be determined, then I'm happy to vote for it.
Okay, all right. All in favor, say aye. All right, so we got a unanimous this time. There we go.
Good.
Great, thank you.
A lot of discussion, but it matters to all of us, both the landscaping and the town
It
hall.
does. Yeah,
All of
that's
this
good.
matters a lot, so that's why we.
Thank you
spend so
for your
much time on
patience.
it.
Yeah, thank you for your patience.
And thanks for pursuing the project.
I feel like I
Yes,
should just come to
thanks,
your
ma'am.
meetings. I feel like I should come to your meetings like every month now, just like, because I've already been coming.
you-
for the longest.
Because you want to torture yourself, is that it?
I do appreciate your time. I know this is it's a lot, and you guys spent a lot of time on this, and I know you're volunteers, so been on boards, and I do appreciate it very much. I wish it wasn't this difficult, but I do appreciate all your insight. I did have a question. I just wanted to clarify with you on something completely separate though. For your jurisdiction, do you have jurisdiction over the Sill Lane green, the one where the witness stones are?
No.
No,
Okay, that's what I thought. I heard something different, and I just wanted to get it directly from you. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys so much.
thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Okay. Oh, wow, we're way behind. We apologize for the delay. Public hearing number 46 Lime Street. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Everybody, I'm Meg Mattis. I just bought the property next door at 46 Lime. And I just wanted to do, what I'm thinking is upgrades to the home. I don't know if you guys, do they have a copy of what, and Brenda is my wonderful, landscape architect from, Waterview.
So what I'm proposing, the, cement walkway that goes from the town sidewalk to my front door, put in the bluestone walkway. In the back, I don't know if you are all familiar, so it's a shared driveway with Spears Plumbing, which goes down. I just want it, right now, I don't have any type of specific driveway into my garage. It's just all grass. So we want to put a gravel driveway extending from the Spears portion of the, driveway into my garage. And then, put a propane tank, which will be hidden with greenery. And I guess there's a question of tell me how far back I have to put it. Nothing specific is said on the propane tank, but I want a propane tank. And those are
Well, let me ask you, the one question I had about the propane tank,
I
I couldn't quite see the location.
well, I mean, I haven't even really met with anybody. If you guys have specifics on how far back you want it.
Well, there's code requirements relative to windows, I believe.
Windows.
Yeah, and so I don't know along this, because I think you were suggesting along the side of your house here,
Yes, the side facing the town hall.
right?
Yes.
And so do you have windows along that?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know the specific, do you know, Ed, the specific dimension?
I can't recall.
Or roughly,
Well, it's like 4 or 5 feet from a
Right.
window, something like that.
right, so I think what relative to a propane tank along this elevation, it may or may not be possible to fit that in this location is what I'm.
This is Brenda from,
Oh, okay, yes.
I don't know how familiar you are with your house. It goes down and it goes the back of the house.
Yes,
The deck is elevated and you go up a set of steps to get to it.
I see
I
that,
could slide that propane tank closer to the back of the house,
right,
possibly even notch it around the back,
yeah,
because then the windows would be so high up.
yeah, there's a big
You would
grade
have
elevation.
to meet, any house couldn't meet any better than that, I wouldn't think.
distance
Don't know what
requirements,
they are,
right,
specifically the regs, but
right,
there is that flexibility on the property.
right,
And you'd still have the tank close to the driveway where you need it, so they can refill it. I mean, the point is that
right,
then the servicemen, when they go to refill her tank, would be able to back down the driveway and fill the tank.
they would have direct access, right,
Not drag the hose all the way over to the other side of the property,
right,
which would
Right.
invariably mean Lime Street, which you guys would hate.
right.
See, I'm flexible on the placement. I
So,
just.
so could you, just
get my
mark,
glasses.
so I can kind of see where you're, it's a small drawing, but.
It's bigger in real life. Okay,
Just kind of where you think that tank might go.
okay. So, wow, this is full. This is the front, this is the back.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm saying. I don't know if you can see this, but
I see the
you can
stairs.
see the corner of the house is right here,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it'd be very simple to simply put the tank right here.
Does that not foul the steps? I thought the
No,
steps,
the steps don't come all the way to the corner of the house.
oh, they don't. I see,
I have a good 4 or 5 feet there.
right,
So, and then you still have the distance between the corner of the house and the driveway.
right.
So I gotta have 10 feet there.
Okay.
For sure. And the driveway is well off the house, like it's not right up against the
This
house.
is the
no way.
drive here, right? The-
Correct.
the trees
It's
come-
20 feet wide. Wow, my eyes are just really not good anymore. It's 20 feet, right? 10 of that is a parking space and the other 10 continues around to the garage. So, and then there's, you can see there's distance here between the, you see that? When you come down those steps, you're landing on stepping stones that lead you to the driveway.
I see. Let me share this with the.
I'm sorry.
Let me share this with the rest of the.
It's very, I've had
Have
realized
a
it's
seat
that
if you
small.
like, if you'd like.
I would have brought a bigger one.
Let me share that with the rest of the commission.
Oh, she's got a computer. She can make it bigger.
Yeah.
Just if you enlarge that, you can see. And it's all behind the house. You don't even see it from the road.
Over here or over here? Here.
On this side,
On that side.
so they'll have access from the driveway.
That's the whole point.
Lime Street on the right side back. You can maybe even go to the windows and see.
It's literally all 2 doors down.
Right,
The driveway is, if you're looking at the house from the street, driveway is on the right.
Mhm.
There is along the right side of the house about 5 feet. It's not a lot, but when you get towards the back of the house,
Right.
deepens because there is depth there to the steps. So it would be possible to actually even turn it like this and still be able to fill it from that drive.
So it would be on the
Technically,
west,
yes,
west side of the house, not the
Is that
north
west?
side of the
Yeah.
house. That's west.
correct. On the west side of the house, but at the end of the house, closest to the driveway.
I understand.
And screened. So
And
we're
screened.
Oh,
we're also thinking about this.
believe me, I'm screening.
Right.
Yeah, no,
So
Meg would have me screening, no question about it. This is her home.
So one of the things we would need is the dimension of that tank for the C of
I
A.
told you that. I don't know that.
Is that
I
a
mean-
200-gallon tank or
I'm
100?
not
I have-
involved in
it's
the
just
tank.
for, I mean, I haven't even, it's for just a gas fireplace, so it's not
Oh,
like,
it's-
so it's not gonna be anything big. It's
Aren't
gonna
they
keep,
usually like 6 feet by 3 feet a tank?
I mean, I don't need a large tank. It's for,
We have to make sure it's not 1,000 gallons
No.
versus.
100%, because that's 20 feet long and that's
no,
a
it's
whole.
gonna be for a
whole nother thing.
propane, a gas fireplace. So.
It's her
Understood.
and her grown chicks.
Yeah,
So,
understood.
Probably a 200-gallon tank would carry you through the winter.
100%,
Yeah.
no.
No.
I have a 100-gallon tank I just went through in a month.
But she's just using it for the
It's-
fireplace.
This was a
It just,
bad
it's
winter.
not for heating. It's
The
like
fireplace.
aesthetics and,
Right.
yeah.
I myself have a ventless propane tank in my living room to try and reduce the amount of oil heat I'm burning. And this was a very bad winter.
Yeah.
And I just went through 75 gallons in 4 weeks.
I have
Yes.
still another question about the placement. I'm still thinking about that rather than the capacity and.
I understand.
Is it, I wasn't sure about your prior explanation, but have you considered, I think you have, putting the tanks on the west side, but on the southwest corner? So facing that way. And I mean, Wilcox is good about pulling the hose. They have to pull it in my house. So I don't think that's a huge problem. It would be less.
We work with Wilcox like almost daily.
Yes.
So I'm very, very familiar with them.
Yes.
They are good about pulling the hose, but it does mean that their truck will have to stop on Lime Street, pull the hose. It's going to take 10 minutes. I mean, it will. It's your call. I can put it anywhere you want. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to screen it, no matter where you.
But you can't.
I will say that screws up the design because on the west side is her only yard. She is not going to use that yard that's in the hollow. That's for looking at from above and for driving through. That's that whole experience. The front yard is her garden. That's her lawn. That's where she and her little dog are going to be able to stay and sit on the porch and have a garden. So that would take, if it weren't necessary, it would be better for the design to be able to keep that. There's a garden that goes all along that side. There's going to be trees there. I'm redoing the landscape around the whole front.
But I wasn't talking about putting it on the south side. I was talking about putting it on the west side, but on the south.
Lime Street is what? Lime Street is which side of the house?
East.
East.
Yeah.
So the back is west.
Yes,
Okay, so you're talking about the rear,
she's
the
talking about,
west,
Talking about putting it on the other
The
side
left
of the back.
west corner.
I think she's talking about this side here.
Well, what's your opposition to putting it on this side?
More visible.
For who? I mean, we're gonna be covering, I'm sorry, I just don't understand.
It's going to be screened and the people who are going to be looking at it are Spears Plumbing.
Well, they're here, so,
I
so
mean, they're plumbers. You guys are
So-
used to seeing tanks.
I would welcome,
And I am putting, by the way, emerald green arborvitae around it. Evergreen dwarf
Right.
hedge all around it. You will not see it.
But if that's what it I mean, I want the propane tank, so,
No, she has to have the
you
propane.
guys tell me where to.
But, it would be better for the design if you didn't mind seeing it. But those are literally the only people that go up and down the driveway that leaves.
so to summarize, there's the proposed location, which is on the kind of the northwest corner of, and
Correct.
the question is, could it go on the southwest or the southwest corner or the west side? And we're hearing that maybe not. Are there any other, because I'd like to hear from the members of the audience as well. Any other comments that you guys would like to make at this point on the design? And go ahead.
No, I'm just here for my brother,
I say,
Hay Spears.
I don't know if you had any specific comments or
And we were
concerns,
just concerned about the driveway more.
right?
Just wanted to make sure that it was understood that's a shared driveway with an easement and we just wanted to.
I haven't touched it.
Driveway extension was going.
In fact, the driveway, there's gonna be a cobble border where it meets the asphalt, so it won't, the asphalt will not be damaged in any way. If anything, we're improving it. Do you follow?
Sort of. I actually like to, I'm gonna look out the window.
There's a drawing also.
You can see.
Where that driveway, where her driveway, where you can go ahead and look it on, I can, you'll hear me, believe me. As you're going down the Spears driveway, you turn left into her driveway's parking. Where that 20-foot wide is a 3-foot deep cobble apron. And the edges are all cobble. She's doing a beautiful job. First class, all of it.
Yeah, that's great.
Should be a great neighbor for you guys.
Yeah, I'm
Good
sure.
luck in it.
So your specific concern, which is maintaining access on the roadway, is shared,
Right, there's an easement.
and there's an easement, yes.
Absolutely.
That wouldn't change in this, what's being proposed here. Yeah.
And everybody does understand there's a septic there. And,
Yeah, the septic field.
We haven't touched it.
And that
I
does
wouldn't touch it. That wouldn't be right.
fall in. So in terms of the, a stone apron, a gravel drive,
Okay.
a screen propane tank in that northwest corner. And then there's modifications to the front sidewalk that are being proposed.
That would be further.
Is it, I'm sorry, is your name, is it Gail?
Less visible.
Have you seen, because maybe, I don't know if Brenda can do it now, we can send you like the plans.
I can email you a copy of the
Oh, that would be
design.
great.
Yeah, so,
I'll give you my card before I leave.
Oh,
Or you
okay.
can email or Megan.
yeah,
All right, I'd like to bring the meeting back to focus, please. So we're all focused here. And do we lose Ed?
I think you might have gone to the restroom.
Oh, okay. Here he is.
I have another meeting,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Do we get
The walkway, I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Thank you, Carolyn. Yeah. So, we heard from the neighbor, the main concern, Ed, while you're out, is that it's a shared easement and that doesn't affect here. We described the proposed addition of the driveway, no concerns from the neighbor. So, any other thoughts or comments?
Karen just wanted to reiterate that she had thought that to hide it a little bit more, it could be tucked in on that other side of the
Other
rear
side.
porch and probably filled from the same way, like if they pulled.
Can you turn that around and show where?
You might be able to see.
So it's
that.
still the rear of the house, but
Yeah.
on the other corner?
Yeah, it's just on the other.
Not-
It's like-
Yeah, you could do that.
It's filled just from
You
the
could do
driveway.
that.
It's
Where,
just- it would be.
where is she suggesting?
Right up against the new driveway where you're driving down. Under the porch, it would be under the porch.
Okay.
Technically, up against the back of the house, just before you get to the driveway, right there.
Right there, yeah.
I need enough room to screen it, but that's only a couple of feet.
Yeah, that's,
She's thinking it would be a little more tucked in.
It would
there,
be.
And then nobody would see it.
I mean, I was gonna make it so that you could walk along there to get from your driveway around to your steps, so you could get upstairs when you pull your car all the way over to your garage. But you had suggested that you would go through the garage
I
anyway,
don't think I would.
so that
use-
wouldn't affect
yeah,
the design in any way. We could do that.
And I just don't know if the gas company has any.
Like she said, at least then they're on the driveway, not on
Yeah.
Lime Street. That's my big concern is for them.
Right,
Proposed
right.
here.
Okay,
As
Yeah.
opposed to here.
So instead of the
Instead of
north,
the right corner, the
the
left.
northwest corner, it would be the
Tucked in.
southwest corner. Yeah.
Exactly.
On the west facade, yeah. John, are you following, John?
More or less.
Yeah, more or less, okay. So, basically, we're gonna suggesting to move the propane tank to the northwest corner of between the driveway and the deck, along the west facade, of the house.
so it's gonna be in the back of the house.
In the back, yeah.
Would there be a change in the specified size of the pad for the propane tank?
I mean, whatever's necessary for the size tank, I don't know the specifics of that, but
I
whatever.
haven't even gotten the size of the
Yeah.
tank yet. As soon as I have the.
But I don't
size,
need
I'll
a
put the
large tank.
on
I
the plan.
have two of those temporary in front of my house right now,
Yeah.
so I kind of have.
They're not huge. They're really.
Do you know and for the C of A, do you know the gallon yet? Do you know?
because I haven't contacted the gas
Yeah.
company. Again, it's not gonna be,
Even if it's 250, they're like 3 feet wide and about 4 or 5 feet tall.
I'd just like to be able to
They're
put
capsules.
something in like no greater than a 250-gallon tank or.
250 will be fine.
yeah, I mean, if they have to come refill it, they'll
Yeah.
refill it, but I'm not using it to heat the
250
house
would be
per se.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's,
Are you year round in that house?
I have a summer place at Point of Woods. So I'll be there in the winter when I need the propane. So I'll be there, most of the year. Yeah.
I
Do
had a
we,
few, I had a
Go ahead,
few
John.
specific questions.
Mhm.
First about the form itself. The form that was sent to us did not have attachments checked and was not signed.
I just moved here this weekend, so I can sign it now. I wasn't available to sign it, but I can sign it now.
We should specify, once you've decided on the location, on what side screening is necessary. The commission's concern traditionally has been screening so that it's not visible from the street.
Not very visible.
I don't,
Right.
so we may want to specify, Russ,
Fine.
whatever sides that is. You mentioned that there would be a cobble edge to the driveway. How high would we should, as we have with other situations, specify the maximum height above the ground of cobble?
It would be flush.
It would be flush.
You drive
Okay,
across it. It's an apron.
okay, I just noticed that,
That's a term I'm familiar with. Apron, yeah.
I just noticed that it wasn't specified.
Yeah, it's
And,
flush.
and do you have a description of the cobblestone?
That was
Cobblestones
my
are
next
9
question.
inches roughly by 4 inches.
Say that again.
They're made of granite.
Granite, what dimension?
Cobblestones, they're roughly 4 inches by 9 inches generally. Because they're a natural stone, they vary, but that is really where they lie, basically.
We
They're
should
set on a
specify-
concrete foundation, just so that you know. It has a concrete foundation. They do have a mortar joint. It will
We
be there
should
forever.
specify natural stone, Russ.
She said granite?
Granite.
Right, but we just in our,
Oh, in general, we'll just say natural stone.
in approving them, because I don't think that was specified in the application.
We'll say
Um,
natural stone.
You talk about on the blue stone, that there would be
He's talking about the front walk now.
The
blue
yeah.
stone along all borders, or set blue stone along all borders. Again, would that be flush?
Okay,
Or you?
Let me
or you
switch
kind
to
of
the
put-
walkway now for a second.
Yeah,
I don't want to confuse anybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
from the apron in the driveway to the walkway in the front.
Right.
We are taking out the concrete walkway which exists and replacing it with a bluestone walkway 4 feet wide. The bluestone itself is 1.5 inches thick. It is set on a bed 6 to 8 inches deep of compacted process, so it's permeable. The outside borders are set in a puddle of concrete to retain the pattern. But the walkway itself is permeable to water. So it
Okay.
doesn't heat, there's no mortar, nothing moves, it's set butt joint, it's forever. No
Okay.
maintenance.
My question is simple. I got most of that from the form, thanks. But the borders themselves, same question as with the cobblestone borders. Are those flush?
Elevation.
Elevation.
Yes, they're flush. Yes,
Okay,
the bluestone is flush,
Flush to the ground.
just as it is now.
okay. I just want to
Yeah.
clarify, because sometimes when people say borders, you think of raised
Sometimes they
borders.
raise
I
it.
just want
Oh,
to
no,
specify
I
that
know
they're,
better than to change
they're
things
flat.
tenable.
Okay. The driveway gravel.
Yes.
We typically specify a color or range of colors.
Okay, I can
Um,
help you. I know Meg well enough to know. I did her house in Point of Woods, so I know her well. Generally, we don't use 3/8, which had become the norm, but it tends to stick to people's tires and on their shoes, and it scratches their floors.
Yeah.
So we tend to go with more of a 1/2 inch. We like natural color, which looks more like sand. There is some variation between the grays and the naturals. Looks very natural. We are, I believe we do oil and stone. We do that so that the stones don't pop too much. And then the cobble on the edge retains everything in. Where you have gravel, you must have cobble or steel. And steel is not,
Right.
she's a traditional woman and this is a traditional home, cobble edge.
Okay. I think those are my questions. Yep, those were all my questions. Thank you.
John, do you
It's-
want to? Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was going to say, do you want to formulate a motion based on all these responses? Or would you like for me to try to do that? I've been trying to take notes.
Well, I have to toggle between screens to get back to
Right.
the form. So if you could do it, it's just, I think
Right.
you're proving it as submitted with the specifications that the size of the pad be no larger than necessary to accommodate a 250-gallon tank, that the location of the pad be moved. You want to specify the screen, the location of the screening, and make sure we have a standard that it be of a height sufficient to come up to the top of the tank. You want to specify that the bluestone edging and the cobblestones are flush with the ground. And you want to specify that the stone color be a natural brownish or grayish stone. I guess, you can have natural stone that's pure white and it just
Yeah.
doesn't fit. So that's all.
A lot of this is in the C of A document itself.
Yes, so I would just
Uh,
add say
Right.
that the motion is to approve it as submitted with the specifications
Yeah,
and then
Yeah.
add in
Right.
whatever details are not there.
All right. Does anybody, we just lost Julie, so we don't have a quorum at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. 3 people are a quorum.
Or 3, we can go with 3. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the C of A as noted with the following stipulations. That there will be a screening that extends to the top elevation of the propane tank located in the southwest corner of the house on the west facade.
Just lost him.
Oh, we just lost John.
Not just the visual, I think.
Are you still there, John?
It's muted.
No, that's a line to the,
Oh, boy.
so now you gotta wait for her, right?
And just because I was reading over, this whole thing is new to me. And I was just confused in the like is like, I think the term was.
Like.
Like, yes. So just the front shutters, I just wanted to paint like hunter green like the rest of the trim is.
Yes.
Do I need to fill out a C of A or since I heard
No.
paint color? So, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, the evergreens will be 4 to 5 feet, so they will be big enough to cover the tank.
We need you, Julie. Because we lost John. We lost John. So, yeah, so we're the quorum now.
All right.
So I was going through the motion,
Perfect.
and up until the point, because Martha's taking notes, I won't repeat myself, that we have the bluestone front sidewalk is flush grade. The driveway has a cobblestone edge with 4-inch by 9-inch cobblestones, also maximum are mounted flush with grade. And the driveway will include a 1/2 inch natural color gravel. It is an oil and stone mixture and has a cobble edge, also flush with grade. Did I miss anything?
Well, the material, I think, is
Right.
1.5 inch stone, not
The
gravel.
bluestone. is.
The bluestone is 1.5.
On gra-
On the
He's talking about
driveway.
gravel for the driveway.
The surface of the driveway.
Surface of the driveway is gravel. The surface of the walkway is bluestone, one
Okay.
hand, one.
1.5 inch.
So you're gonna do oil?
Oil
and
and stone
stone.
gravel. It will look like gravel on the surface.
Okay, I know what it is.
Yeah, the bluestone is 1.5 inch thick, Martha. if you'll-
That's for the walkway.
For the walkway, yeah.
You couldn't
I
afford
think
to
that-
do an entire driveway in bluestone.
Be nice. I think that's it. Do I have a second to the motion?
Second
All right. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
I'm
No,
back.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
John's back.
Appreciate it.
Okay, John,
I
we
don't
just
know.
voted without you,
Okay,
so you abstained.
it's
It's approved.
official. No, I didn't
Yeah, it's official.
abstain. I didn't vote.
You
Okay.
didn't vote, okay.
I don't know what happened to the
Thank you, everyone.
connection.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
All right. Moving on, I mean, we're way over, so, let me just go through the last few items here. Is there anything that is urgent that we cover, prior to adjourning?
Yes.
Church sign.
Well, discussion,
We need to discuss that, and we also, there is one urgent matter that needs to be discussed under the catch-all zoning and other requested town information.
okay, well, let's have a brief discussion of the church sign. If we could?
Is there anyone here from the church?
No,
Oh, I thought Carolyn said their administrative assistant would be.
nobody's here. So any comments or discussion on the church sign?
Gone now?
It's gone.
Gone.
Well,
It's gone.
I guess my question for the commission is just, what do we do? They ignore us. They've ignored us on other temporary signs. We've provided information about approvals in advance. Is it worth sending a letter reminding them that signs need to be approved in advance and say again, we have a process for an expedited review of ordinary temporary signs?
Well, let me ask you this question, John. There's two items I noted at the church. One is there's still flags hanging from the church. Are those considered signs? And number two, there's a light
I think
there's a light above the church sign that it's illuminating nothing because it's not illuminating the sign. And it's like 10 feet
It
tall.
used to illuminate the front of the church, didn't it?
Maybe,
There
yes,
was- there was-
yes.
There was a tall sign that,
The
tall
tall
light
light.
pole there.
So now they have a light on top of that shining down, but it's not illuminating the sign because it's so high up.
I haven't seen it.
Right,
So my other pole, but I didn't see it on.
right. I
Well-
drove by it last night and
But-
so my comment is, should we maybe address some of these items along with the comment that you're making?
How about inviting the administrative person to be at our next meeting?
I agree with that.
I think that's a good idea. I think Martha and Russ and I should try to formulate a short letter saying, there are a number of issues that we'd like to discuss and
Let's do that.
put in lines about how we're so grateful for the church's cooperation.
Right. Great. I agree. I think an invitation would be nice.
But
And-
I think it sends the wrong message to the community who's by and large cooperative with the HDC regulations
Right.
to have spontaneous things occur.
I agree. Do you want any of those comments on record?
No,
Okay.
that's just,
I mean, it's being recorded. So. All right. Any other church discussion points? All right, let's move to proposed new zoning reg matters. Is that the other critical point, John?
Yeah, I mean, very briefly, on zoning, we should find out as soon as possible when this phase 2 meeting is. Phase 2 is rather open-ended. Our comments before were directed at the draft that was submitted.
Right.
And
Right.
though most of those will be considered, our comments will be considered in phase 2. But if there are other things we would like the zoning regs to do or say that might be new, this is the opportunity to do it, I
Right.
think.
Well, let me ask this question. Can anybody attend and maybe we could send a note to everybody, attend the meeting tonight to just find out. I'm getting on a plane this afternoon, so.
I'm going to be there for the Cemetery Association.
Would you be able to, if any discussion about phase 2, could you report back to us, anything that comes up on that? That would first be helpful.
I can,
And then number 2 would be, to John's point, for us to contemplate for the next meeting, or depending on timing, when I imagine this phase 2 process is going to be lengthy.
I would imagine.
So I think we could take up any discussion on the zoning at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
probably. But it
Phase-
would be,
phase
it
one
would be,
was-
it would be helpful, Ed, if they don't say, if you could find out or just ask when that process will begin, when the first meeting will be. The one item that's urgent is the request from Jim Lampos for information about a resiliency committee, which is concerned with, I gather, largely the prospect of rising waters and their impact on structures or property townwide. But they have requested information about the material that the HDC consults on these these issues. And it seems to me that what we consult is information provided by SHPO, information provided by Preservation Connecticut, and perhaps information provided by the National Register of Historic Places. I know when Russ and Deanie were going through the issue with the Griswold Point property, there were links to any number of, well, to several websites. But this is now a request that's well over a month old, and we need to get back in touch with them right away. So I'm wondering if it would suffice to, if it would be easy enough to pull together some websites and just send them links and say this is the information we consult on resiliency.
Does SHPO, do they have specific resiliency sections?
I don't know.
Right. I think that has to be researched. I just how SHPO and the Preservation Connecticut, how
Well,
it relates to
Can you
resiliency.
look at the phrasing quickly of Martha
Yes.
attached the letter. It's on, I think, page 2.
I have a copy. I think I put copies in everybody's packet.
Right.
So what does it say on page 2 that they're requiring right away?
Any studies, plans, data sets, reports, or other materials your department or group uses that relate to flooding, stormwater, coastal river resilience, land use, zoning, conservation, or housing, infrastructure vulnerability, or climate-related assessments.
Well, housing vulnerability, I mean, I know there are plans somewhere, like Newport, Rhode Island, for example, has done a lot of work on plans for housing that's right next to the coast that's affected by rising sea levels. So I don't know how we find this, but perhaps we should
Look at them.
put a question out to Preservation Connecticut and to
SHPO. Yeah, I think that's
SHPO.
the thing. I think that's what we need to do. Is find out if the state has any guidelines that we should be aware of.
Martha, could you ask them that question, and then we
Sure.
can just pass along something?
Right, because if we start
it-
digging, it's, we don't know what we're gonna find. Yeah.
It also, as I'm reading this letter, it's anticipating that they're anticipating that somebody from every town commission be on board this resiliency committee, which is to meet quarterly. So,
Yeah, I think this raises another topic, John, in that we have several other town committees, zoning, Halls Road, sidewalk, this, and I don't think if a member for the historic commission has volunteered time on the commission, it doesn't necessarily mean that they volunteered to extend to these other committees as well.
exactly.
I think the best that we can do is try to have individuals attend these meetings, but I think it's onerous to expect that somebody would be designated to represent the commission on these other town committees, because there may be more if we start doing it.
Well, we can make that clear to Russ. The sidewalk committee, as of last night, has not yet been constituted, but they have a March start date. So whoever has applied to that apparently is going to be on that committee. I don't think that's anything urgent, but once a chair is designated, we could just send an
Right.
email to the chair and say, of course, you will please keep us informed. And if they
Yeah.
are having a meeting that appears to involve a consideration of designs, particularly coming into the historic district and for the portion of the sidewalk that's in the historic district, we should know about them.
They have to come to us. I think that's it, is that we're a standing committee, and that when they overlap our jurisdiction, they have to come to us on that. And it's nice that if somebody can attend, just like the zoning tonight, but it can't be a requirement.
I think I read that there was only one person that volunteered to be on that sidewalk. committee.
Well, I won't even say it. Anyway, yeah. Maybe the commission, maybe the work will be handled by the Board of Selectmen,
I'm gonna, out of the fact that I have to get ready to go out of town, unless there's anything else.
One quick thing.
Yeah, sure.
I read on social media that Nightingale's was
Yes.
bringing in another
I saw that.
vendor for food.
Yes.
Do they have to submit? They were serving food before.
That's a zoning issue,
That's
number
a-
one, and then if there are any changes, structural signs or anything like that, they would have to come before us.
So if they put signage up, they would have to come.
That's right.
I have just two comments. One is to suggest that the secretary's report, perhaps for this meeting, be submitted in writing.
Yep.
And entered in the minutes, rather than spending time now with Martha going through the items. But Martha, if you could specifically highlight what has happened with the skylights at the school door, the transom, and number one, and number two, if you could check with Elena if you haven't recently, but put in something specific about when we're anticipated to get this work. I just,
Okay,
I think it's, I have not heard anything back from her despite having asked some questions. So
Okay.
I haven't asked the questions recently, but she just hasn't responded. The second thing is, and this we can talk about next meeting, but we have a whole slew of stuff that we never fully get to because the C of A material takes so long. We have zoning follow-up. We have to responses owed to the planning committee about the last POCD. They're already starting to work on the next one. We have website revisions that apparently Elena now is not going to be able to get to. We have draft lighting guidelines. We have draft demolition guidelines. We have to finish the portion of the signage guidelines related to realtor signs. None of those things, if we come in with drafts, should take a huge amount of time. But I am thinking that perhaps in April or May, we should set a special meeting to tackle them. We just always run out of time at the end of regular meetings. And so,
makes sense.
Mhm.
I'm sure we can do that.
All right. I make a motion, we adjourn.
second,
Second.
Aye, all in favor.
thanks, everybody.